pledge allegiance first. Good evening. It's Norman is not with us tonight. She's requested by Holder to stay home. But we do have Caroline Brown from Palmer School and Abby Snyder from Marshall Elementary School to lead us to the pledge. Would you like to say
Hi, I'm Caroline. I go to Palmer Elementary, and I'm testing for my black belt in April. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Trying to make you lose weight. Shoveling takes into that. They step in the table or go in the floor.
Dominic Buscemi. Here. Robert Fainall. Here. Jody Hess. Here. Matt Monahan. Robert Obie. Mike Bickabone. Michelle Price. Here. Aaron Vonderberg. Here. Jen White. Here. Liz Neely. So 6. Okay, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. We, unfortunately, the first and foremost thing I guess I need to speak to is the schedule of school. We continue to have problems making sure that the pathways and the stops in the city of Easton are clear enough for students to be seen and be able to travel. Having had conversations with my counterpart, Bethlehem and Allentown, I know that the other two cities in the Lehigh Valley are having the same difficulties, and for that reason, we will not be opening school tomorrow. But we do look forward to opening school on Thursday. Because of that, we're going to be adjusting our school calendar, and the public will notice that there will be a motion to include 2 dates and changing those dates from staff development and from 1 day off of our spring vacation to make up for 2 days of the need for snow days. That enables us to avoid the probability of attacking on days at the end of the year, which is something that I don't believe becomes very productive for any of us. So that's one matter. The other matter that I'd like to report on involves, once again, the idea that public service is something that is very important to all of us here in this country, and everything seems to work around the notion that good people need to step forward and serve the public and serve in the best interest of everyone. And school directors are no exception to that rule. In fact, they perhaps more than most people epitomize the notion of giving forth of one's time and effort for the benefit of the community, and especially the community of children who exist in all over the U.S. who deserve a public education and deserve to be heard. And so January is School Board Directors Month, and I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of the administration staff and the public, to thank each of our board directors for their service and the commitment that they make. It is absolutely amazing that in this day and age, people are willing to put forth so much personal effort and time into helping solve problems and developing opportunities for others. And these people do so. And so, once again, I would like to say thank you, especially in this month when we're supposed to say thank you. I want to make sure that we do so and acknowledge what you do for the Easton area community and what you do especially for the children of this community. So thank you all very much for your service. I'd like Mr. Cook, if you come forward and introduce some important people to us.
Good evening, Mr. Reinhardt, school board members. It is both an honor and a privilege today to speak to you, introduce you to an amazing young lady, Manor Shah. Manor, if you can come up. Manor has been awarded with the 2016 runner-up for the National Center for Women in Information Technology Aspiring Computing Award. It is a national recognition. There were over 3,300 applications nationwide, and there were only 350 students selected for this award. So it is less than 10% of those across the nation that are given this award. Nora has a few words to say. I asked her, and I told her to think about it prior to coming to the board meeting today, but she also serves as a leader in our computer science club. And as you know, the Computer Science Club has made quite a bit of headway in its early inception over the last couple of years, and this year made both local, regional, and national news for its Hour of Code. Nora has worked very hard with her other colleagues in the club to establish such events at the high school and bring computer science education to the forefront in Easton and throughout. It's also important to recognize the fact that females and a female leader in the field of education is also extremely important. So, Nora, if you want to come to the podium and have a few words.
Thank you. First, I would like to thank my parents for always supporting me and encouraging me. Mrs. Carmichael, Mr. Kanzos, all the principals, Mr. Reinhardt, Mr. Vitro, and all the school board members for providing such an environment that induces and develops learning, collaboration, and leadership among all of us students. And where there's equal opportunity, and that is provided with all of us. As Mr. Cook had previously mentioned, with computer science and basically STEM, girls aren't represented as much. There's only 4% of girls that choose computer science as a major in college, and only 18% of all computer science graduates are women. So being a girl and receiving this award, I was ecstatic. I was really excited. And this is also where Computer Science Club comes in, and where we have had multiple media outlet coverages, and from meeting the United States Senator to having the national TV, being on national TV. So I'm very fortunate to be attending Easton Area High School, where I have the opportunity to take numerous classes relating to computer science and STEM, and fields where I can have many possibilities. So thank you so much for everything and the wonderful support system.
Before we move on, I'd like to recognize both of her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Shah. If you could please stand. And Mrs. Carmichael, a mentor and business teacher in the department. Mrs. Carmichael.
Like, before you go on, I just wanted to add that 7:20, School Board President Frank Winterbourne joined the conversation.
Good evening, Mr. Pinnabone.
Well, it was there.
He said hello.
So the next opportunity I have is to speak about two other organizations in our happens to be on the same floor, so to speak, in our business department. But as you see in the agenda this evening, FBLA has 14 representatives moving on to states. I'd like to wish them the best of luck. FBLA, for those of you who don't know what that organization is, it is Future Business Leaders of America. It is a national career and technical student organization. And so those opportunities are great for our students. And each year we're very, very competitive in that competition. This year, as I mentioned, we'll send 14. The other piece I think that is important to note is that each of these other organizations also has a service component. So they're always doing something throughout the course of the year to dedicate their time and energy to in ways of helping our community. And the FBLA doesn't have their representatives here tonight, but the next organization that I want to congratulate does, and I'd love for them to step forward from our DECA. That would be Kelly Schultes, our president, Harmeet Mandir, our vice president, and Julia Hildebrandt, our director of community service. This organization is sending 35 representatives to the state competition. They have a few words that they would like to say on behalf of their organization, and I'm going to turn it over to them. Ladies?
All right, hi everyone. My name is Kelly Schultes, and I'm the current president of Easton DECA. I'm a senior this year at Easton Area High School as well. DECA is a local student-run business organization at Easton Area High School, and the purpose of the club is to prepare emerging leaders and entrepreneurs in the careers of marketing, finance, hospitality, and management. So currently, DECA is a rapidly growing organization with over 215,000 members in the United States. And Easton DECA alone has over 150 members, making us the 5th largest chapter in Pennsylvania. The club builds self-esteem, it allows for new experiences, and participates in many community service activities. As a DECA member, you're allowed to participate in 3 tracks. We have community service, fundraising, and competition. You're not limited to any of the 3. And below we have all of our state qualified.
Hello everyone, my name is Harmeet Mandir. I'm the Vice President of Easton DECA, and I'm also the Pennsylvania State Officer. I'm the District 7 representative. For our competition, it allows students to learn how to interact and problem solve, and they also gain public speaking skills. Many different events they can choose from. They can do it by themselves, but they can also do it with a partner or one or more partners. We have 3 levels of competition, and we recently had our district competition at Jim Court. On December 6th, we had 35 of our members that went qualified, and they're going to advance to the state competition, which will be in Hershey, Pennsylvania, from March 1st to the 3rd. And their names are Victoria Bertolini, Nicole Pandiaki, Caitlin Torres, Malachi Toomer, Jasper and Singh, Zach Kahn, Jared Brown, Athena Hypalis, Kelly Schultes, Casey Mardiak, Taylor Warman, Malachi Shaw, Catherine Gallagher, Madison Stanchi, myself, and our Director of Community Service, Julia Hildebrandt.
We also have Jillian Bedoya, Samantha Sofera, Annie Walsh, Kennedy Yutz, Julia Campbell, Lexi Bon Giovanni, Elizabeth Wesco, Diana Maxava, Nor Shaw, Marlon Henry, Aaron Hammerstone, Elena Delvetti, Lindsay Shimkins, Taylor Quintano, Emily Strohbecker, Gerald Hubetti, Marlon Phillip, Olivia Nunez, Monica Echeverria, Jana Latique, and Emily Campbell.
Thank you guys very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. I hope in the near future, following the competition, that we can announce some winners moving on to nationals, which will mean that these students will have to work twice as hard to fundraise for that opportunity to compete at that level. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 3. Dr. Erickson here.
Well, good evening. What a tough act to follow from the almost black belt trader doing the pledge for us, these wonderful speakers that you've introduced. Congratulations to all of you. Well, thanks as always for giving me an opportunity to talk to you, as I do annually, a little bit about the college, the year that we've had, and the extent to which we greatly appreciate our partnership with you. Wait 1 second for that. Okay, can everybody see this one over here? So I'm going to run through pretty quickly. You may remember from the past 3 years when you've seen me, I talk very quickly, so I have a lot of slides. We're going to move through them fairly quickly to make sure you get a good feel for what's going on at the college. As I do when I start every presentation, I start with a slide that talks about our commitment to this community. We are a college of the community. Everything Northampton does is based on the needs of the community that we serve, and we're awfully proud about that. The strategic priorities for the college that we set shortly after I arrived in 2012 are these 5. Student outreach, making sure that every student who could and should have the opportunity to come to Northampton has that opportunity. And then secondly, to make sure when they come to us, they don't just come, but they're successful. They either go on to a 4-year college they want to go on to or complete their degree and get a great job. Thirdly, we're committed to preparing our students for an increasingly diverse and global world that they're going into. Fourthly, we're very committed to the community and engaging our students to become great citizens. And finally, last but not least, we're a leader in technology, making sure that we harness 21st century technology to maximize student learning. Let me just pull out one of those because I think it's maybe of particular interest to you. In the student outreach area, as a direct result of conversations we've had with superintendents and also through our school district task force, we're making a push this year, especially around dual enrollment, providing the opportunity for high school students to come to the college and get a taste for what college is all about. We are applying to become a pilot site for federal Pell Grant support, which can ultimately help all the students in the school district to have more support, especially our neediest students. And then the last item here, we've made a decision to only charge the tuition portion of tuition and fees to dual enrollment students this coming year, and I hope that will encourage more of them to come to us, and also as a nod to the partnership that we have with your school district. In terms of completion, I told you about this before, but I'll tell you again, we are a leader college nationally in an initiative called Achieving the Dream, making sure that students are successful in college. We're very proud of that. We're committed to our work in technology. For the 2nd year in a row, we were named as one of the top 10 community colleges in the country for the progress we've made in that particular area of technology. We received a very competitive grant from the Department of Education to expand our international studies in foreign language, providing opportunities for our students to now study abroad in China and Jordan and to have language instruction in intermediate Mandarin and introductory Arabic, really expanding our footprint there. We were one of only 9 colleges to receive the Post-Secondary Sustainability Award from the U.S. Department of Education. University of Virginia, Auburn, Florida State, a few others were part of that. You'll see one of your board members and our board chair, Bob Fainel, in that picture, looking good. And as always, we're always responding to the needs both of the 4-year colleges we serve and the employers looking for new folks to come into their business and industry. These are the 4 new programs we put in place this past year. Applied psychology, public health, obviously responding to the changing landscape in the health area, global studies, and computer forensics as well. We have a wonderful honors program that is growing and provides a wonderful opportunity for the best and brightest students you have to come to us and be very successful. 313 students in that program, 22 of them from Easton High School. These students typically get great scholarships to go on to 4-year college. It's a great opportunity for them. We're all about access. Because of the support we get from the federal government through Pell Grants and private philanthropy, we award about $44.5 million in student financial aid annually to help students come to Northampton. More than half of our students, despite our low price tag, need that help in order to come to us. We're blessed to have the largest scholarship program of any community college in Pennsylvania. The big news for us this fall is this news. Every year in the state of Pennsylvania, a single professor is chosen as Professor of the Year. From the 175 colleges, public, private, 4-year, 2-year, 1 professor is chosen. This year's professor was our English professor, Javier Aguilar. Fantastic professor. Even more impressive is that 3 of the past 7 years, the Professors of the Year in Pennsylvania have come out of our faculty. So we have a wonderful faculty that really make a difference with our students. Our graduates are successful, both in going on to four-year colleges and going into the workforce. 6 months after they graduate, we interview them to find out how they're doing, and if they've reached those goals that they were hoping for, they respond affirmatively with the numbers that you see right here, not bad, 6 months out. These are some of the median salaries, some of the higher ones from students graduating from the 2-year program, and they go everywhere into the Lehigh Valley and beyond. This is just a short list of some of the places our graduates went to this past year. 1 out of every 4 students in Northampton County comes to the college. Within 3 years of graduating, almost 40% of those students come to the college. So we are training the workforce of the Lehigh Valley. 90% of those students stay in the community, 100 plus programs of study. We have the highest 3- and 4-year graduation rates of any Pennsylvania community college, narrowly missing the 2-year rate, but many of our students are part-time and take that extra 3rd year. We're also part of a national initiative. We have funding through the Department of Labor to expand our training in manufacturing, healthcare, and logistics in partnership with these 2 other community colleges. It's a very wonderful program that has allowed us, leveraging those dollars, to upgrade our Center for Advanced Technology to meet the needs of business and industry in our community. Here's the ribbon cutting for that. I'm actually using a laser torch to cut that ribbon. It was tough, I will tell you. The head of our welding program said, "There's no adjunct faculty job for you." But a lot of new technology, and that's what manufacturing is about anymore. We are also firmly committed, and I've heard you talk a lot about it today, to preparing our students to be great citizens in this community, to be active in their communities, and we push thousands of students out every year to do community service across this school district, but across districts across the area in a way that's very meaningful for them. We also have wonderful partners, both in Lehigh Valley's other colleges, but also lots of other colleges. This is our top 10 list, so more students transfer to East Stroudsburg than anywhere else. Lehigh University, number 10, is 10th on our list. I would suggest that 10 years ago you didn't see them on our list. They now understand the value and the caliber of the students that were graduating from our programs. These are just some of the other articulation agreements we have. There are many, many more than this. But increasingly what it means, if you come to Northampton for 2 years and then transfer, your credits are going to transfer and you'll be way ahead. We also provide 3 on-site programs where you can finish your 4-year degree without leaving our campus. One is in place with Bloomsburg, and we're announcing 2 more, one with ESU and Wilkes this coming spring. Important for our students, place-bound. We remain the most affordable option that you will find, a little under $4,000 for up to 18 credits each semester. Very favorable if you compare us to lots of the other competition. My other proudest moment last spring, much like your proud moment here today, had to do with awards that our students got. Every year, the Phi Theta Kappa chapter, which are the honor societies for community colleges, have an opportunity to nominate 2 students from each chapter. We have 2 chapters since we also have part of the college up in Monroe County, so we nominated 4 students. 1,700 nominations nationally. 20 students were selected as the top 20 students in the country. One of those was one of ours, Aaron Rosengarten. He was named to the first team All-USA. The next 50 students nationally were named Coca-Cola Gold Scholars. 2 of our students, Stephen and Carla, were named to that. So think about that. Across the country in community colleges, 3 of the top 70 students came out of your community college. Now let's talk about Easton. As we looked at this past year, this is the number of credit students, almost 1,200 that came to Northampton. Many of those full-time, some of them part-time, obviously, the majority women, and a large number of students of color as well. Right out of high school, about a quarter of your graduates, just like what we see in most of Northampton, came directly to us. And they're doing some great things. Caillou and then Hunter are doing a great job as presidential ambassadors. There are only 15 students that are selected for this honor. They serve the college at a lot of public events and receive a full scholarship. A number of your graduates also were selected to Phi Theta Kappa, our honor society. Those students typically get wonderful scholarships on to 4-year colleges. A number of your students also received their nursing pins. You can see the pass rates for our nursing program this past year. really are quite extraordinary. It's a tough program, but a wonderful program. Your students also get very involved. Manny on the right is one of my favorite students, actually at Northampton. Very engaged from the time he set foot on our campus and making a difference in the Student Senate. 50-plus student organizations, a vibrant art program, including a wonderful theater program, and a growing and very, very successful athletic program. We actually had our first national champion at Northampton this year, Meseret Hart from Southern Lehigh, won the national championship. In fact, she never lost a race all year. She'll be back next year. Women's volleyball team once again went to the nationals, won our region, and a number of your students are very engaged and make a difference on our athletic teams in important sorts of ways. Just a few of them so you can see it. Probably what we're proudest about with our athletic program is that we won the Region Award for Character. We're doing the kinds of things you and I both would hope would happen in an athletic program. I would end simply by saying Northampton Community College, your community college, is a college on the move. We continue to do great things, and while we're your local community college, we're a national leader among community colleges. I've been at Northampton, now I'm in my 4th year. I've been working in education for almost 40 years. This is the moment when you say, oh, I can hardly believe that. But during that whole time, I will tell you, I've never been at a place that's had a greater impact than Northampton. As I see the impact we have on the lives of the students that come to us and the trajectory that we put them on, as I get ready for commencement this Saturday, I almost tear up thinking about those students crossing the stage and how their lives have been changed. So your investment in us is a great investment, but it's incredibly important investment. As we look across all the school districts, we're looking at a 1.9% increase in support. When you factor in the numbers of students you have coming to us and the growth in that number, the number is a little bit higher for you up at that $35,000 figure. I want to thank you for your support and look forward to your partnership as we move forward. So, questions?
The President. Go ahead, Frank. Frank has a question for you, Dr. Erickson.
Okay.
Thank you for your presentation.
Hello, Dr. Erickson. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. Hey, always great to hear what the community college is doing, and especially what the Easton graduates are currently doing or were doing at Northampton Community College. It's always great to hear that. One question I have, pardon my voice, one question I have is I've always liked what you've been doing in Bethlehem, Southside Bethlehem, satellite campuses, different programs.
Right.
Has there been any conversation at the community level, and if not, can we start a conversation of maybe doing some things, more partnering with the district in the city of Easton, maybe some job classes, programs to help prepare our adults for different jobs, maybe English as second language classes,
Sure.
Satellite campus, things of that nature. Is there any? I mean, we're sending a good amount there. It's evident by what's the word I'm looking for? Our percentage seems to increase yearly. Is that something we can talk about, that where we can get the community college down in Easton to do more for the community the way it's doing in Bethlehem?
Sure. I mean, what I would say is that we're very open to having that conversation. In fact, I'm scheduled to have lunch this Friday with Mayor Panto, and that's one of the items that we plan on discussing. So it's all about finding the right location, making sure that, whatever we talk about on that end is going to work. But as I said in the very first slide, we're a college of the community, so we're constantly looking at new opportunities to make sure that we serve the community that we're part of. That's what we're all about. So good comment.
I'm happy to hear yourself and Mayor Panto sitting together. That's great. And I don't want to just offer his services, but our superintendent is phenomenal. He's been in the area before. He's here now. I think he'd be a real asset to those conversations. And I think the presence of the community college in the city of Easton, again, would be a tremendous asset for both the college and the community. So thank you very much.
Good. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, and part of what we're also looking to do, you saw the conversations about dual enrollment. We're also applying for a grant from the Lehigh Valley Community Foundation in partnership with Easton and also Bethlehem to try to get additional support. So we're looking at the federal Pell support. We're looking at the community support on that end, and then we're looking at this reduction that we put in place to really try to build an even stronger partnership between your districts and others. So, other questions you have?
Thank you very much.
If not, I know you have a full agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Erickson.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks once again for your partnership.
If I could just follow up by thanking you for hearing our concerns about dual enrollment. The Northampton County superintendents have been in conversations with Dr. Erickson about trying to lower the dual enrollment costs for our high schools so that more students can have access to the opportunities that the community college offers. And it's obvious by that slide that he and others have heard our requests and our concerns, and I would suspect that that reduction in dual enrollment costs will generate more students participating and an easier path for them to participate. So
Good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And obviously, one of our goals in terms of dual enrollment is to help students see their pathway to college and beyond college. So the more we can convince high school seniors to actually have that opportunity, step on a college campus, get a feel for what that looks like, and be successful, we're very happy with that.
Great. Thank you.
Tremendous. Thanks.
All right, we'll go on to 4. Ms. Price will give the CIE 20 report.
The IU is partnering with the community and local agencies to help students that are in their last year of high school to help them gain employment skills. And the goal is that they're opening starting next year, 2016-2017 school year. They'll be opening a project search site at the Kalahari Resorts Convention Center. And this program will allow students with disabilities to rotate through internships and receive continual feedback. And by the end of the program, it's hoped that these students will be ready for full or part-time employment. So that's pretty exciting. And also, the opposite end, early intervention services at the IU have received a grant of over $10,000 to help with the facilitation of focusing on family engagement. And so that hopefully will help with the early intervention, getting the families involved in the education of their children. So that's growing funny. And I guess I'll just go on for the library then.
Yes. I do have a really quick question. The Colonial Academy that's taken a stand on bullying.
Yes.
Since we, had some discussion about that, maybe, you can work with the superintendent to maybe see if they can even come in and.
Yes, and that's something that we'll be talking about. We're having a meeting tomorrow, and I will be bringing that up.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, well, the Friends of the Library helped the staff the library sale in December, and it was the biggest profit on record. They made over $9,000 at the library book sale. And there was also a holiday cookie decorating program for the children that was held in Catherine Drake Room on December 19th. And the Youth Quake Explosion team helped assist children decorate the cookies. And there was also an outreach program at Paxinosa where they had cookies and they got to say hello to Santa. And the library cards were issued to families that did not have cards, so it was an outreach program to help parents know what's going on at the library. And so that's basically it. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, CIT report. Mrs. S. Mr. Edward, Mrs. Lewis.
We do have, I have one thing to report.
I have a couple too. So.
I had the distinct pleasure of sitting on the committee to hire a. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I was looking for the.
No, absolutely not. Now, you got it.
You had it printed. I had the honor to sit on the committee to hire a new assistant principal or vice principal at the CIT. replacing Mr. Walt Bonstein, who, if I had to survey the room, I'd probably say 95% of you probably know who he is because everywhere I go, everybody knows who Bonstein is. But he is retiring, and we'd like to announce Matthew Edwards, a prior special ed teacher at Wilson High School, as the new vice principal for the CIT. He comes with 11 years in education, multiple certifications, and different backgrounds that will make him a great quality fit for the CIT. So we're very excited about that hire. And we're looking to get him on the ball and moving very, very quickly.
I have one thing real quick. We did, at CIT, they did go electronic, which is really good news. So we are kind of doing the exact same thing as we're doing here at Easton, that we have a password protected login and we can get all of our information. And as sitting here, you don't realize how great that is, instead of getting a binder like this at the end of the meeting. So that's, yeah, it's so much more effective. And then I think they did hire 2 new personnel in the cafeteria, which was a big move that we were talking about for months. And they do have the budget final that they're going to present, I believe, in February or March.
And the only thing I have to add is we have approved for the Skills USA Championship districts in Allentown, February 3rd. I believe there's going to be about 65 students attending that from the CIT. And also the National Technical Honor Society banquet is March 16th at 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll go on to NCC. Mr. Fatal, Mr. Fletcher.
Actually, you've heard most of the report this evening.
Yeah, that's true.
It was all about the budget. So that was our last committee.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Buscemi for the foundation.
Kathy gave me some notes. Kathy Miller, the director. The Grease Band concert, which we talked about quite a bit before it happened, was a success. Had a lot of positive feedback, and we're looking at ways to make it better next year. So if anybody has any ideas, let us know. We're currently planning a gala that's going to be April 16th, 2016 at the Northampton County Country Club. So save the dates one out. But just so you want to save that date, April 16th, we're now going to save the date out with the annual report. All the Board of Education reps should have received it. There's going to be 6 district alumni honorees this year, and we're hoping to increase the attendance. We're currently seeking sponsorships and silent auction items. So if you know any business people that might want to get their name in the program and help sponsor this event, let us know. Also, silent auction items, that can be anything that we can put into a basket or let people bid on. And the foundation has received over $4,500 in memorial donations for Chelsea Graham and Joe Vitale, or Joe Vrabel, that they're going to be used to purchase musical instruments according to the wishes of both of the families. And Kathy is currently writing grants to assist with Sizzle, the literary program list. That's the extent of the request.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mayo for legislative.
Not much to report, but it's time to start looking at the next year's budget before we finally approve last year's budget. As I said, not much else going on in Harrisburg.
Thank you. Mr. Cook.
Yes, we have with us the Student Council Executive Board President, Sarah Lutz.
Good evening. I just wanted to touch on a few events that we have coming up this spring at the high school. First, we have our Special Olympics gymnastics that's going to take place on March 2nd in our gym at the high school. I've been a part of that whole program since the 7th grade, so I just wanted to say how it's magnificent how we've been doing that for so many years in both the middle school and the high school. We have a lot of activities for the kids that they participate in, and the kids look forward to it, and both the volunteers and the kids and their parents, they all have a magnificent time. So I'm looking forward to that. We also have a snow date, which is March 9th, if anything were to occur. Next up, we have the Mr. Easton competition. That will be April 14th in the high school auditorium. For those of you that don't know what the competition is, it's basically where the senior boys, they sign up for it, and they compete in a variety of events. There can be comedy events, different talents that they have, and at the end, there's a crowned winner. And in May, on May 5th, we have our Special Olympics track and field. That will take place at Liberty High School. We have about 50 or so students go to Liberty and participate. It's basically the same idea as our Special Olympics gymnastics, except this takes place outside, and there's different activities other than that. And of course, we're looking forward to our the senior prom, which will be May 28th at Steel Stacks, and then graduation. So that pretty much summarizes what our spring is going to look like until the end of the year.
It's going to go quick.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. This is mine. For the bus for the EAEA. Oh, this is Robertson TTA. Sorry. I'm jumping ahead. That's okay. My cursor's going down quick.
Just a couple updates from some of our elementary schools. Over at Cheston, they will be hosting their annual movie night featuring the Minions on Friday, January 29th. The entry fee will include popcorn drink along with other snacks and door prizes. Over at Forks, they had a great assembly, pay-it-forward assembly called the Ned Show. All the yo-yos purchased at that event will be used to give the school a free assembly. So that was good. To help boost their membership numbers over there, they will be doing another PTA membership drive. What they're doing is for every class that gets 100% new and old members, they'll get a powwow lunch with Mr. Warren. So the kids are excited. And finally, they will be having a Sweetheart Dance on February 12th. They'll have a DJ, snacks, and a free photo. At March, they will also be doing a membership drive over there, as well as planning activities to include the new families that will be coming to March in the fall. At Shawnee, they will be hosting their very first basket raffle. If you like those, mark your calendar. It's Saturday, February 20th. The doors will open at 6 p.m. and tickets will be available at the door the day of the event. Also, they're going to be partnering with the Backpack Pals of Easton, as does several of our other elementary schools. This is the second year they're doing it, and it is for food distribution, drive. And finally, over at Tracy, Tracy had a wonderful family night. We featured the movie Inside Out. It was sponsored by AAA. We have a really good working relationship with them. We're actually getting them into a couple other schools, including Paxinosa. And finally, we're going to be working hard on our budget in the next couple months. Tracy is very excited to be welcoming quite a few kids due to fifth grade and redistricting in the fall. So we'll be adjusting our budget, make sure that we're prepared for them. And finally, at our high school, they are working with their Key Club and advisor Rachel Peters to adopt several families from the Cheston Elementary School. They did that actually for Christmas. Together they were able to provide new toys, crafts, books, clothes, and shoes for 7 children, and they were very grateful for that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. EAEA now. The children. No one here for this? Okay. And bus drivers, this is Helen Jones.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Reinhardt for making such a great call for tomorrow. And the bus drivers, that was a great call. We had given out some scholarships, Teamsters Local 773, and we gave out 14 of them, and 5 of them came from our school this year. And one was to Natasha Cece. She graduated in 1990. Jake Liscanithia, I know I botched that name. His name was also on the Northampton County chart that he put up there. Jake, he graduated in 2013, and if I'm correct, he's going on to Drexel. I remember his father told me. We have Deanne Marino, 2013 also. Daniel Kello, 2012. He's going on, he will be graduating from Moravian College May 2016. And then we had Gary Polson, 2012. They all received a grant. scholarship, sorry, and the total came to this school district was $3,600. So I think that was pretty good. The bus drivers also asked the Teamsters to donate to the backpack program, and they sent a check for $200 to that program. And also, Mr. Reinhardt, once again, thank you for including the buses in your letter that went out about behaviors. And that's all we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Diversity Committee.
Yes, unfortunately, I was not able to attend our latest diversity meeting, but Ms. Piazza was, so I'm going to ask her if she can report on that.
Sure. We did have a district and community diversity meeting at the Boys and Girls Club of Easton on January 13th. And there were approximately 12 people present at that meeting, as Mr. Vandenberg was one of them. We talked a lot about our equity plan that the district and school board is putting together with our community. We took some feedback on that plan and hoping to bring that to the board here in the spring for final approval. We also talked at great length about the attendance at those meetings, so anyone who is interested, we encourage you to come to those meetings. They are held monthly. We started out with approximately 35 to 40 people in attendance, and that has dwindled down to that 10 or 12 for a host of reasons, I'm sure, but we are encouraging people to come out and get involved with that. It is really a committee that is looking to shape not only our school district but also our community and make sure that we are providing equal access to all involved with our district. The other large portion of our conversation that night was spent on planning the second Little Rock 9 recognition ceremony. The folks in attendance really started talking about the success that it was last year, our first year, and what we would like it to look like as we move forward in the future. And then we also talked about an important step being that we always look towards having, whether it's great or small, an action step that is coming out of that committee so that that continual momentum occurs. And then finally, we talked about our next meeting, which is scheduled for February 17th. We have an opportunity to perhaps, and we're waiting for confirmation, to join a national speaker on civil rights at Lafayette College that night. So we are hoping to move our presentation to Lafayette College and enjoy that conversation as part of our diversity committee.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the standing committee reports. First. Done? All right, we're moving on to 6. So is there anyone from the public to be heard on agenda items only? Oh, yes?
I don't know if this
Sign in, please.
Sure. I don't know if this would fall under the agenda under redistricting or not. My name is Andrew Gillespie, and I was just wondering if and when full-day kindergarten will be brought to the other elementary schools in the district? And if it's not agenda, I'll wait to the end.
I don't think it is on the agenda at this time, so we might have to wait till the end. Right?
No, I respond to one that's very quick.
Okay, we can.
Yeah, our plan is to do that. We're adding. We got three full-time classes now. We hope to, as funding becomes more clear to us, and our legislators get into the business of approving budgets, we're hoping that we can look forward to adding full-time classes in our other buildings. That's our plan and our goal.
Okay, great. Okay? We got a target date, or
no target date, because it's all based upon the support that we can get. For our other buildings, the support that we've gotten is based partially on the Title I designation of the buildings and our ability to include that population in some other grants. So there's really no way that we can target it, because it's all going to depend on, number one, how much support the governor gives public education and the legislature supports him, and number two, when any money is released now for planning for next year. Sadly enough, almost a year's gone by, or half a year's gone by, we were just notified that we did receive some grant money to do some programming for kids. We can't even think about putting it in place and helping the kids it's supposed to help because we have no budget in Harrisburg and haven't known anything about that now until half a year has gone by. So it's been a very sad set of circumstances for all of us at this end. So it makes that end, a goal, if you will, for timing for these things very difficult to predict.
Okay, so it's hopeful in the future.
We are hopeful. That's our goal.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to the approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Come on.
My question regarding the redistricting plans. My child is currently a Chesterton elementary student, and with the redistricting plans, our area is a low-income area, and with that being said, there are funding and social events that are put in place for those children. Will the funding and those events still take place at Palmer when he is moved? What will these children be losing? Our area doesn't change, but the school does.
Can you make sure you sign in, please?
Oh, sure.
And again, it's not an agenda item, but John, if you want to...
Yes, we can address that, sure. We've certainly been taking a look at that, and I can only say to you that we're going to do our very best to make sure that programs and opportunities are not diminished for anybody that changes from Cheston to Palmer. If anything, we hope that we're going to be able to carry some of that with them. It depends on, number one, the numbers of our numbers and how that impacts on our Title I designations for schools. So we still have to deal with that piece of it yet, but our plan would be that there wouldn't be a diminishing of opportunities. It's just quite the opposite.
I understand. My biggest concern was educationally and
Yeah.
financially what the children and the parents would be losing.
Sure.
An email was sent to, it's been a crazy weekend with the snow and everything, so
Yeah.
I assume that emails have not been addressed yet, but I did send out an email with my concern as well.
Okay, good.
All right.
Well, we can give you a call and respond to that and try and schedule a time for you to come in and talk to us.
Very good. Thank you very
That would be
much.
helpful.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the community that would like to speak on agenda items? Okay. Okay, then moving on to 7. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes, the special meeting, we're going to do A, B, C, and D, so that's November 16th, December 8th, and December 22nd. Second? Approved? Okay. Any opposed? Any discussion? Yes. Okay. So A is the special meeting of November 16th. B is December 8th as presented. Okay. All right. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any discussion? Okay. Moving on. 8. Can I have a motion to approve the executive session as presented?
Second.
Any question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Maybe you all can't hear me because, I'm not using it. Okay, we're moving on. Approval? Got that, Ally? Yes. Okay. Okay, number 9, personnel. We are going to take letters A through K. Do you want me to say each one of them to you, Frank? Okay, thank you.
I'll move it with regretfully appropriate.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. I can Karen get it first. Questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Personnel, passed. Let's go next. 10, academics. Need a motion to approve A. Right, 8 through K. 8 through K. I have to pull C. Okay, so we're going to pull C. So it's A, B, then D through K. And I have a motion. Yes? Yes. C is the professional development for February 16th, because we're going to do an addendum on L. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve? Motion. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Moving on. Number 11, policy. Can I have... The addendum's on another one, I think, right? Addendum is L. Okay. I need a motion to approve the 2015-2016 school calendar, which includes the February 16th and the March 24th student days. Can I have a motion to approve? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Moving on. Now, we move into 11, policy. Can I have a motion to approve policy 918, Title I, parental involvement as presented? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. There's nothing for 12. Mr. Brown? There's nothing there, right? Okay, so we're looking at 13. Okay, we're going to 13, finance. And I'm going to take letters A through H, I, letters A through I. Can I have a motion? Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
John, we had talked about, or I asked a question at the committee meeting about the sports medicine and the advertising. Did you get a chance to look at it, or do you have any thoughts on how that advertising will be handled?
Well, one of the things that we had talked about was the idea of certainly the very positive thing that St. Luke's wants to provide the district with X number of dollars to help support programs and advertising. And so after hearing your questions and concerns, I would agree that those are certainly very valid points. I think it is important for us to make sure that there is several groups of people who view how that $5,000 amount is going to be distributed. And a key person in my mind would be the high school principal, who would oversee most of the things that I think St. Luke's is going to be involved in. So my suggestion is that over the course of time, and perhaps it's like June, July or so when the contract kicks in, that we form a small committee to determine how we're going to use that $5,000, Mike, so that it's not just for one particular program, but it's spread across all of our programs that perhaps St. Luke's impacts on, if you understand what I'm saying. And the question was, how do we know that, for example, that should that $5,000 go for ads in particular programs, which programs? There's not a lot of guidance with it.
Okay.
So it's something we can take a look at and I think help to define for you. That works?
Yep.
Frank, do you have a question?
Yeah, just a comment. St. Luke's is doing a very good job for us at a very very good price. They're giving an additional $5,000 to help us out, whatever we do with it, what we choose to do with it. I think they're paying, if you will, for their advertising, brands, their mentioned, things like that. Now, whatever we choose to do with the $5,000, that's on us. But also, you've been mentioning for a while, Mr. Simonette informed me a couple weeks ago that we are in a position to offer advertising to other food companies or what have you that will be advertising in different athletics and things like that. So, we're going to work on a policy and we are going to start talking about advertising. The fact that St. Luke's is getting some advertising off of us and getting some mentions, I think they have been a tremendous partner with the district, and on top of that, just giving money that they wanted to give to help us. So I think they have definitely earned, their advertising from Easton, whether with what they're doing or with their contribution that they so graciously gave us without any stipulations. He said, here's the $5,000 every year, you guys do what you see fit with it.
Any other questions? Comments? Okay. All right, we're moving on. 14, miscellaneous. We need to, did he come before yet? It's getting late. All right, all in favor is where we are.
All right.
Any opposed? Okay. Now we're moving on. 14, miscellaneous, naming of academics vice chair. So I either need a nomination or volunteer to take the vice chair. You have one?
I have volunteered.
Could you policy as well?
No.
Oh, with academics? Oh, Jody, you're on, yes.
I was academics during policy.
Okay, we're doing policy now. Sorry. Jody is the vice chair for academics, that's correct. Right. Yes. So we're looking for policy vice chair.
No.
You're chair. Right. You're the chair, so I need a vice chair.
For policy or academic?
Policy.
Academics has advertising.
I know it does, but
Okay.
I'm telling, Jody already did that,
Okay.
so we're going to announce that she's the vice chair for academics. But we need policy, that should say policy. Oh, right, we need two of them, right.
I would put that.
You know what? Okay. Okay. Do we need to motion that, or we're good? Just, all right. I'll give that back to Ellie. Okay. Number 15. Public, is there anyone from the public to be heard on non-agenda items? I'm still going to say. Okay. Somebody? Okay. Oh, my brain's shutting down. Please sign in. State your name. I'm getting that correct tonight. At least give me that.
Good afternoon. Nice and a proud parent of two young boys in Palmer. And this is my first time in the Easton area school district. And thank you, board members, and thank you, Mr. Superintendent, for addressing my concern while I'm here initially, which was the now the third day of closing for the school district. And I'm a little bit concerned, to tell the truth, because I think for a community, for a state that's a northeastern state that's used to snow, and granted it was a record-breaking snowfall, but 3 days of school closing, I think, is bordering on the ridiculous. And I like my kids to be in school. I understand, and I appreciate the fact that you will be taking some days away from the calendar a little bit to make up for those days, even though it's during the Easter break, the spring break. But nonetheless, I think it to be frank, showed a lack of planning on the school district's regard, especially with forecasted for such a long time by the weather forecaster. So, can you provide a little more details as to the decision making and some of the circumstances that contributed to the third day of closing?
Well, actually, the preparation for storms really is a municipality responsibility. Across the Commonwealth, school districts are really dependent upon our municipalities for clearing roads and making sure that the snow and the inclement weather conditions are appropriately handled. So there's really no preparation for us other than our own particular property, and our property has been cleaned off. But that does not necessarily mean that when you have a record-breaking snowfall like this, that our municipalities have the ability to move it and get rid of it as fast as we would like them to. As I mentioned, I had talked to both the officials in both Bethlehem and Allentown, who are we are all in agreement that the cities are trying to do their very best. But factors that go into this would be the first and foremost is the safety of our children going back and forth to school. And we do have a large number of students who are walking back and forth to school within the city. We have buses that have to traverse some very narrow streets, and it's a challenge on a daily basis, let alone throw some snow and ice in there. And so it was not, I was hoping we could have kids back in school tomorrow, because again, we don't benefit from this other than the fact that we're not putting students out on streets and drivers out on streets that are inappropriately cleaned or not ready for the walkers. And I'm sure that if you would travel some of the areas in our district, you'd see that kids have to leave sidewalks and the sides of roads in order and sort of traverse out into the path of traffic. All pedestrians do, in fact, just not children. Children are harder to see in the morning. And the mounds of snow that are accumulating on intersections are problematic for all of us. And so that's where every storm and every set of conditions is different. And I can assure you that if I can, I will try to get our kids in, but I'm not going to do anything that I think is going to be unsafe. And so my decision was to join the other two city superintendents and say no tomorrow.
John, are the bus stops, like some areas on the streets, even where the bus stops are, there are mounds and mounds of snow,
Right.
visibility is not...
Yeah, you see, it's very difficult set of circumstances because you may have streets with several stops, and because of the amounts of snow, and because of where the snow is, you try to get kids. We've tried this in the past to get kids to go to gang stops, and that forces larger numbers of kids into smaller open spaces at intersections. Those intersections are not very well cleaned out. And that would mean that students are standing in roadways or standing on mounds of snow. And again, the likelihood of an accident or the likelihood of an injury, I think, increases tremendously. And I understand it's an inconvenience for lots of people, but try to do the best I can with the kids' safety in mind.
Mr. Reinhardt, it's within the inconvenience, and I appreciate the safety factor, and I'm sure there's a lot of concern there as well, right? Having lived over a decade in a city like Buffalo, New York, where we get snowstorm like this pretty regularly. I just never seen 3 days of closing before. So, I'm not here to deliberate your decision making. I just, again, I found it unusual.
Yeah. Well, but I also find it unusual that people that come from Buffalo would find it difficult that those of us here in the Lehigh Valley aren't used to piles of snow and traveling around. Our drivers don't necessarily have to, thank God, travel in snow that you might have encountered in Buffalo. So I would submit to you and to others who come here from northern territories where the snow piles up, we may be less experienced as drivers in those conditions, and so we may be less experienced in walking the streets as well. You know what I'm saying?
I will give you that, Mr. Superintendent.
Yeah.
The equipment is the same equipment there as here, and I've lived here for over
But you probably have more of it in Buffalo than we have in
It's
Easton.
the same equipment we use. It's
Well-
no different. Thank you for your time.
John, also, we amended the school calendar so that.
Yeah, he knows. I think he knows that, yes.
Frank,
If
did
I
you have a
can just,
question?
if I can just make a comment on that, I used to drive trucks, and one of the places I ran was Buffalo and Rochester on a daily basis, and I can tell you for a fact, Buffalo and Rochester are miles ahead of Pennsylvania when it comes to clearing snow, and I think you got to admit that. The equipment, the roads in New York are 10 times better than the roads in Pennsylvania when it snows because they put the plows out. They're equipped to take care of it. Pennsylvania doesn't want to do it. They don't put the plows out until like rush hour in the morning, which causes a lot of traffic accidents. And I fully support the superintendent's decision to err on the side of safety when it comes to the kids because there's just no comparison between Buffalo and Rochester and here with the ability to remove large amounts of snow.
Yeah, I mean,
this is a flurry to Buffalo.
And I don't know all the tangents. I was in Palmer. I mean, Palmer's pretty regularly expecting running around. So
If you take a ride through Easton,
I'm
or
good
take
at
a ride
Palmer.
through Forks,
There might be a little difference, and I understand that. Again, thank you for your time. I just, I found it a little bit unusual. I appreciate your.
Thank you. Frank, did you have something to say? Go ahead.
I can't wait until any other medical business at the end. I apologize.
Is there any other public to be heard on non-agenda items? Okay, do you want to make your statement now? Go ahead, Frank.
I have a quick question. I was having some trouble hearing earlier. When everyone did the reports, did EA have a chance to speak, or Mr. Rustler, because I just had an email from Ms. Miles, that they have an opportunity to speak?
Well, I called them, but nobody came up, right? Is that
No, yes, that's fine. I just received an email from the EA president, Julie Hall. She couldn't make it tonight. She was hoping Mr. Rustler could make it and speak, and obviously he didn't make it. Just an update to everyone. We are looking at dates to begin negotiations with the teachers. The teachers sent us some dates for February. We think May is at the back, and we're just waiting for them to confirm. So we are moving forward. I know there's some concerned individuals that was just brought to my attention on the teacher side, and we want to make sure everybody understands, the moving slow because we still don't have a budget. And I will tell you, this board and administration will not negotiate blindly and potentially make, huge mistakes going forward. So if some people are a little upset that we're not moving as fast as they would like, I apologize. But again, we will not just go and negotiate blindly and not really know, what we have. But we do have a date, or we did give the teachers confirm one of their dates, and we're just waiting for the sale day for mid-February, I believe. And we will sit down and start talking, as fast as we can by making the most educated decision possible. And it's just a little hard without having a budget to really know. So, to anybody who has issued the pace that we're moving within negotiations with the teachers, I just want to say intentional. We just want to make sure that we're doing the best. We're doing what's right for the community, district, teachers, students, everybody involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. And I appreciate you. I know you're trying to draw out my meeting just so that I would be the acting president that had the longest meeting. Thanks.
The only reason you were going to have a short meeting is because you were waiting through for getting to get votes.
Okay, so we're going to add that under number 16. Is there any other business from the board members?
I did one.
Yes, go ahead, Jody.
We received an email from Lynn Alexander, the 5-6 Easton PTA Council, regarding the regional reflections winners, and I just wanted to recognize them for that. For people who don't know what that is, which I didn't understand this before, so we received this. It's arts and education program, and it's encouraging creativity in visual art, photography, music, film, music, dance, and literature. And we have 12 regional winners from the district, and I just wanted to recognize them for that.
Thank you very much. Is there any other board member with anything? Okay. Then I'd like a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:28. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Thank you.